but yet you went on to study law.
I did, because I was also still a good African daughter. So
interesting.
Yeah, I did. Well, what I did was I finished my A levels horribly badly. Went and worked for Lloyds Bank for a year because I was convinced I was never going to do education again. I was sick of it. And a year of Lloyds Bank made me go, so the law degree, where is it? So then I did 2 years of a law degree, but actually I still wanted to be an actor. And I joined a Black women's group, and I met a woman in my Black women's group, and we went to Greenham Common. We did all of that. And I met a woman in my Black women's group who was an actress from the San Francisco Mean Troupe, and she was running acting classes. So when I bailed on my law degree, I did two things. I took up the cello, and I started doing Deborah's acting classes. And then she got funded to do a show in London, and I came to London, and I've been here ever since.
That's amazing, isn't it? Really, how things, the twists and turns of life. And I mean, your work is all about telling a story, you know, through a character, and making us feel as though we are having that character right in our very own homes, in our own room, in our living room. And how has the whole process of coronavirus, how has that changed your particular story? You know, since lockdown, all of the challenges that we're facing, what have been the changes for you during these past few months?
Well, I think one of the big things is the joy of being with other people and creating has really been derailed in a way. I mean, I just don't know what we've done if this had happened 30 years ago and we didn't have Zoom or the internet, or I mean, because I've directed 2 shows over Zoom. I did a 3rd year show at RADA over Zoom, and then another smaller piece, a play that I was interested in personally. And it's doable, and it's actually rather interesting, the things you can do. You know, I'm going to hand you my phone, Evelyn, and then you put your hand up there and you receive the phone. So you can do all sorts of, we had fights, we had fighting, we had the whole thing, you know, it was fantastic. You know, do you want a piece of cake? Yeah, thanks. Oh, lovely. So, you know, there's so much, I just kind of went, okay, so we can't do what we normally do. How can we use this medium to try and do something? How can we be together and be creative? So that was actually quite interesting. I've done an awful lot of monologues and all sorts of things like that, which is fine. I've actually been incredibly busy, but this frame is not the same as hanging out in a room with a bunch of people.
No,
and I think that's that community. I've longed for that. I have. I'm starting to get into rehearsal rooms and theatres again. I'm doing a thing at the Young Vic this weekend, and we're performing, and people are filming is happening again. But it's I think the main story for me over the lockdown period has just been the way coronavirus has exposed all sorts of things. Absolutely, socially, socioeconomically, all the things that we know about who survives best, people with cash, but also it's exposed those things that we know to be true. Human beings need touch. They need to be in communication with. They need to be seen. They need to be heard. They need to be experienced. And when we've missed that, when we've not been able to do that, we suddenly understand the value of it. I think the creative arts, although I think there's a huge amount that needs to happen, the support that needs to come from government, theatres that need to be mothballed, not allowed to fall off the cliff, music venues, similarly, all that stuff. But what it's made us understand is we like to be in communion with each other. We're built for community. We're built to share things. It's not even like a wartime experience where people still gathered, even though things were tough.
That's true. It's interesting you should say that, because just the other day, a lady who had gone through the Second World War was asked, well, is this virus situation more challenging than the war, or vice versa? And she said, oh, this is definitely, the virus is definitely more challenging, because during the war they could come together, you know, they could still dance, and yes, you know, they were
Yes.
exposed to the news of death, and for many, many families, you know, that was, you know, too close to home, but basically they were able to come together, and if anything, more together than even before, because they were supporting each other. And
Yeah.
that now, you know, we can't see this person, that person, I can't see my family or members of the family, and I can't go to this place or that place, and she definitely said this was more challenging for her, and I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody has their own experiences. And